Now we're going to have Leibowitz and Brink talk about the power of music.
Hello everyone, I'm Brink.
I'm Leibowitz.
We're here to talk about the power of music. Music, we both love music in different ways. And for me, when I was a kid, my dad gave me this big, thick, white iPod. And I would listen to music for hours on end. The different artists, the different genres, the way it sounded, the way it made me feel. And just something connected with me. And so I still listen to music today, and it's a big part of my life.
And for me, I listen to music all the time, in the car, at home, whenever I can. I spend hours making playlists. Whenever I find a good song that other people love, it's the best feeling. And just music is such a huge part of my life as well. So we're going to pose this to the audience now. Raise your hand if you listen to music today.
I do.
Music Fridays. Music Friday. Alright, so that's good to see, but the reason that we're here today is because we think that a lot of people don't really know the effects that music can actually have on them when they listen to it. And when they put those headphones in for the first time, there's millions of things that go on in your brain that you don't even realize. So if you took psychology, you know that the auditory cortex is the region in your brain that lets you actually hear the music. But there are so many other regions that music activates and stimulates. The left temporal lobe lets you understand the lyrics and the meaning behind the lyrics. Your right parietal lobe lets you put those lyrics to a tune, and then your cerebellum allows you to kind of feel the rhythm and the beat, and that's when you start to move along and tap your finger to the beat. So this all shows that the music that you listen to, your brain doesn't just try and listen to it, doesn't just try and hear it, but it tries to understand the intent and the meaning behind the music. And music even causes brain plasticity, which is when it can change the structure and function of your brain. So this can be seen in musicians who have enlarged regions in their brain because music is such a staple in their life. And going deeper into the chemical level, music releases endorphins, which are hormones that make you feel good and make you feel happy. And they're the same hormones that are released when you're high on drugs or you exercise or you eat good foods. It just puts you in a good mood. Music can also release oxytocin, which is the same neuropeptide that actually is released when you have sexual contact. So it's the same thing going on when you listen to music. And then in a real-life scenario called the Harmony Project, researchers got a group of low-income LA students to listen to music and participate in music throughout their early childhood and their life. And when they became our age, which is seniors in high school, they actually had, these Harmony Project students had a 93% graduation rate despite a 50% dropout rate in their community. So it just comes to show that music has such a huge impact on your brain and your academics.
So Jacob just talked about how it affects our academics. I'm going to talk about how it affects our athletics. Why is there always music playing in the gym? Why do athletes always wear headphones? It's because music is this legal drug for athletes. You look at runners, running sucks. It's terrible, it's painful, it's horrible, it's fatiguing. But when you listen to music, you're taken out of your body. You forget that your knees are hurting, you forget that your ankles hurt, you have a cramp or you're tired. And you actually, you work harder because your blood is pumping faster, your heart's working, your lungs working, and you're pushed faster. There's a study done on cyclists who listen to music, and they use 7% less oxygen when listening to music when they don't. And so that's really important in what they're doing because oxygen is so important.
I didn't know.
In 2008, the world record mile time was a 2-minute and 3-second mile, which is ridiculous. And the man who did it was an Ethiopian, and he attributed all of his success to the song Scatman. And he said that the beat of Scatman paralleled the pace he needed to run the time. And this fact that one song can help someone break a world record is ridiculous. We can even see music affecting athletics here at Conestoga. If you think of the football team, their locker room's always bumping before practice because they're getting ready to work hard and get stronger. If you ever see the football players walking from Conestoga to team or field, each player has their own headphones in. They're listening to a different song that's getting them motivated and ready in a different way. If you've been to a football game this year, they have a playlist that's getting the players hyped up, and it also, if you've been to a basketball game this year, they have a playlist that is hyping them up for the game. If you ever went to a soccer game, I created the playlist for our soccer team, and I made sure that the music on there was specific to our needs of being motivated, getting ready, being hyped. And you know, this, and all this being said, it just shows the power that music has on athletics. The fact that, you know, it can have someone break a world record, or it can even like get someone to do one more rep in the gym. It's just really important.
So doctors understand this effect that it has on your body and your mind. And that's why music is actually such a huge part of the medical field, which is something that a lot of people don't know. So there are a lot of diseases out there that people consider pretty difficult to treat, like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, schizophrenia. All of these have actually have been helped by music therapy. And it's been proven that music can help, you know, soothe some of these side effects of these diseases. Music therapy in itself is therapy used for depression, where patients with depression go in and play music with other people, and that connection with someone else makes them feel better. Or they listen to upbeat, up-tempo music, and it helps with these depressed feelings that they have. There was a study done that we found was pretty cool, where patients before surgery were either given their typical anti-anxiety drugs, or they were given music to listen to. And what the researchers found was that the patients who listened to music beforehand actually had lower levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and they had less anxiety than the patients who took the drugs that are supposed to, you know, do the same effect. So in some scenarios, music can even be more impactful than drugs. And then nowadays, something pretty cool, surgeons are allowed to, many hospitals, surgeons are allowed to listen to their favorite kind of music as they do their surgeries. So if you just picture, you know, a surgeon cutting someone open and listening to their favorite classical music at the same time. They attribute this to lowering their blood pressure, lowering their heart rate, making them able to actually perform better on these surgeries because they're more relaxed. So all this shows that music isn't just impactful on patients and with therapies and whatnot, but it actually can help the doctors as well.
Okay, so your life is black coffee, and music is the cream and sugar. And I'm referring to your perceptions. I'm referring to your perceptions, you know, the way you see things. The fact that music can take something that's kind of bland and make it colorful. Make something that is tasteless and make it beautiful. There's something called synesthesia, and it's when one perception creates or alters a perception. So when you listen to music, you can actually taste things that aren't there. You can see things that aren't there. You can smell things that aren't there. And that's just music in its raw form and how powerful it really is. And filmmakers really, you know this, and they take advantage of it while making movies. And we have a clip to show you, how powerful music really is in altering the way a clip, takes place.
So all that just shows, Captain Jack Sparrow, I guess he is. Captain Jack Sparrow looked completely different up there, with the sad music than the comical music. So it just shows how much the music can be valued just as similar as, the film itself or the actors and whatnot. So it's just, the ability it has to change your perceptions is crazy.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my favorite aspect of music, and it's the way it makes you feel. Jacob Leibowitz and I went on the Europe trip over last summer. We were on separate trips. But there was a song that was popular at the time called Roses by the Chainsmokers. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And we heard that song while on the trip. And then when we hear it now, months later, we're brought back to when we, stepped off the plane, when we ate dinner at the Eiffel Tower, when we walked around Paris with our friends. We feel those emotions again. We're brought back to the time that we were there, and it's how powerful it is. That's why couples have songs. When you hear that one song that makes you think of that person, or whatever, you feel that bond with them through that music, that you can associate a person with music. It's just incredibly powerful. As I'm walking around now, you don't really hear my footsteps, right? And there's a fan in the background, you're kind of ignoring it, and you don't want to hear that. But if I were to play music, you'd be drawn to it. You'd want to hear it, you'd want to tune in, and that's because it's so powerful. Music has the ability, to bring you to tears. It has the ability to make you stronger. It has the ability to, enhance a perfect moment, or make a perfect moment worse. It's just so powerful. Everyone has their own personal sense in music. There's nothing that compares to finding that artist that almost writes their music for you. You feel like their lyrics are touching you, like there's a reason why they're making their music, and you just connect with it. I see music as this physical arm that almost grabs into your chest and it can rip you to the ground. Or you can touch your mind, or you can think back to when you were a kid. You think about playing on the beach, and you hear that song, and you can think of the sun on your skin. You can smell the salt, and you can hear the waves. When I hear a song, "Fly Me to the Moon" by Frank Sinatra, I'm brought back to my grandmother's living room on Christmas Eve. She's since passed, but I'm brought back to that time, and I can see my parents in the background with my aunt and uncle. And I can see on the left, the fire going. I can see the Christmas tree. And I can hear my grandmother's voice. And the fact that she's not even here, she's gone. And yet I'm still connected to her through this music. Music is this catalyst for your emotions. Music can, bring you to your knees in praise and prayer. It can connect you with people. It can make you want to dance. It can make you want to jump around and sing. And it's just so powerful in the way you act and what you do every day. And it makes you feel like you're a part of the here and now.
And there's a reason that music still exists in the here and now. So this right here, this is a flute that was found in 2008, made of vulture bones. And the researchers who found it dated it back to 45,000 BC, when the first modern humans were roaming this earth. So even back then, music was a huge part of our life and bringing us together. So it's been able to survive from that long ago, and it's still a huge part of our lives today. The researchers who found this believe that it was vital in rallying together these first modern humans into surviving through their dangerous treks into Central Europe. And they even think it was vital in allowing them to survive past the Neanderthals. So it was one of the reasons that we're here today. It's a part of us as a human being.
If you look at ancient Greeks, they get hyped up before battle with these gigantic war drums. Roman warriors on gigantic warships would all row to the same beat of the same drum. Drummer boys in the Revolutionary War were seen as important as the general. You couldn't kill the drummer boy because the music was so important, the drum was so important in raising morale and communication across the battlefield. There was a concert in the 1960s called Woodstock. I'm sure you've all heard of it. There were 400,000 people there for 3 days. They didn't shower. It was a disgusting place to be. You do not want to be there. It's a disgusting place to be. And yet they were still there anyway to hear the music. They disregarded their own physical health. And they just didn't care because they wanted to be there to hear the music.
And this all shows that music just has such a powerful impact on us in bringing us closer to other people. And there's a reason for this. There are circuits in our brain that allow us to put ourselves in other people's shoes, allow us to feel what they're feeling and see what they're seeing. And music activates these circuits and allows us to create empathy, which is a huge part in connecting with other people. Music can even make you like someone better. So if someone likes the same songs as you tend to have higher social positive feelings for them. It's crazy. Families and friend groups who listen to music together all are closer knit and they're just closer together. So if you picture religious groups who sing together, there's so much faith in that moment because of the music. It's bringing them together. And then if you picture a Phillies game, 45,000 people standing together, hands over their heart, and the national anthem playing, just imagine the amount of patriotism in that moment that's created from this one song that everyone knows. It's because music has the ability to communicate our belonging with other people, and it gives us a sense of safety, and it makes us feel obligated toward a group. And that's also why music is so important in culture.
It's important in culture, and it's important in blending cultures. If you think of salsa music, it's a combination of jazz and blues. If you think of jazz and Caribbean music, think of country music, it's a combination of folk and blues. There's these completely different things that are, they sound different. They're from different places on the earth. And you combine them together, and it's still creating this music that's so beautiful. You can even think of music that's not in your native language. On my Spotify, I have a playlist called Pedro Costa, as a kid who's in this room. It's a compilation of all my Spanish music. And and I have no idea what they're saying half the time when they're singing, but I still, sing along, and I still, find joy in what they're saying.
Yeah, and this ability to, blend cultures and bring them together could be seen in the 50s and 60s when there were such high racial tensions in America between the white community and the black community.
Yeah.
No,
Nope. Sorry.
So the one thing that the white community saw as so untouchable in the black community was their culture, and specifically their music. They didn't listen to it, they didn't enjoy it. But then this guy came along, Elvis Presley, and he was a white man who was able to sing this black music and was able to replicate it. And this allowed the white community to listen to it and enjoy it, and actually gave them a reason to have something in common with the community that they're so segregated from. And it allowed the barriers, these strong barriers that have been held for years, to slowly break down. And it was one of the reasons that we're here, where we are today. It allowed them to come together.
So like Elvis, a group called NWA from the movie Straight Outta Compton, they saw a problem with the police brutality and the racism of the time, and they created a song called F the Police, which directly targeted the problem and what was going on. So you can see with Elvis and NWA that their music was able to change things and spread emotion of giant communities that needed to get their point across. And this is all because music is the language that everyone can understand.
And so now we have a video that we made that we feel embodies the power of music. So we're going to play it now, and we hope you like it.
So music is truly powerful, and I hope you recognize that now. And the next time you listen to music, I hope you don't just listen. I hope you feel it.
Thank you guys.